The USCCB is scheduled to meet on June 11th for their General Assembly. During that General Assembly, they are going to try to decide on a process from which abuse claims get reported to higher-ups. A few months ago, the Vatican decided on kind of a uniform process for the bishops of the entire world. It's going to rely on the metropolitan model, which means that the priest or bishop involved will report any kind of claims to the hierarchy assigned to them, so the archbishop of the metropolitan region. So for example, a bishop in Illinois will report to the archbishop of Chicago, which is Cardinal Cupich. And as a layperson, I actually am opposed to this. I want it reported to an independent lay investigation board. We're going to need some really independent lay people who have no items on their own personal agenda. Justification of my opposition to this metropolitan model is evidenced in a story from June 5th that was published by the Washington Post. It was about the Bishop of West Virginia, the Diocese of Charleston, West Virginia. He was accused of harassment of seminarians, and there's an evidence that he gave over $300,000 in bribes to various individuals. He gave a $10,000 gift to Cardinal Wuerl at one point. He actually even gave money to Vigano, which Vigano was the nuncio of the United States, and there were other nuncios that he also bribed once Vigano, before and after Vigano. He got away with it for a while. He got away with his harassment for a while. He bribed his own metropolitan archbishop, Archbishop Lori. This model has been proven that it doesn't work. Check out the article below. There's a lot of interesting information. You can see how deep this corruption goes. As for the USCCB meeting, the USCCB will definitely try to pass this metropolitan archbishop model of reporting. In November, the bishops thought they were meeting to determine this policy in the first place, and the Vatican hijacked it last minute. Bishops were blindsided by it, except for one that appeared, Cardinal Cupich. Right after the letter from the Vatican was read to the cardinals at the start of the meeting, Cardinal Cupich jumped up and gave his 2 cents. It's pretty obvious that the Vatican tipped him off on what was going to happen, and they asked him to suggest a game plan going forward. Now, he was a big fan of this metropolitan model, and he made it very clear. And if you look at the metropolitan model, if one of those lower on the hierarchy under Cardinal McCarrick would have reported to their metropolitan archbishop, who was that? McCarrick. McCarrick would have been their metropolitan archbishop. So if you're reporting a corrupt archbishop, you have to report them to the Vatican. You're not going to report them to themselves, because that's the problem. So there's major issues with this structure, and right now there are people in high positions that are part of the corruption network. There are many people in the United States, I would guess, that are part of the corruption network and the higher-ups. There are many people in the Vatican that are part of the corruption network. And then you see someone like the Bishop of West Virginia bribing his metropolitan archbishop. This isn't something that's going to solve any of those problems. Now, Bishop Strickland did post a tweet on Twitter saying that he would lobby for as much lay involvement as possible in these investigations. That's good, and we'll see how many of these bishops actually stand up for this. We'll see how many stick with Bishop Strickland. I would imagine, just like last time, when 60% of the bishops voted not to request an investigation of the McCarrick files from the Vatican, this time a lot of them are going to just go with, the powerful figures like Cardinal Cupich. And I don't even know if anyone's going to mention the investigation of McCarrick files. Monsignor Anthony Figueredo recently released emails regarding McCarrick and Wuerl, and I don't know if anyone's going to pay attention to that or not. We'll see if anyone at all mentions McCarrick. A lot of them are trying to bury it because there are several cardinals like Cupich and Tobin. They want to bury this as quickly as possible, like, oh, McCarrick was laicized and now there's nothing wrong, and we have your best interest in mind. No, they have their own best interest in mind. So we'll see if anyone steps up and talks about McCarrick. Other than that, I'm going to keep a close eye on what goes on at the USCCB meeting. Hopefully the USCCB will be uploading the speeches on their YouTube channel. They did last time, so I'm crossing my fingers I'll do it again. So I'll have an update at some point on the USCCB meeting and my thoughts, and we'll see what happens. Those are my expectations, though, and stay tuned.